Everybody, welcome back. I apologize that it's been a little bit. I've been completely redoing my PC. I replaced everything except the graphics card, so that has made it difficult to record and make videos and keep things rolling. But I am back, still figuring out some fans and the cooling and things, but I'm back. I'm on day 6 of treatment, so I've been doing radiation at 4 or 4:15 every single day, Monday through Friday, and I've been taking my Temodar chemotherapy pill. So I've got a lot of updates for you. I'm going to tell you kind of how it's going, what I've noticed, changes even to my side effects or symptoms as the time has gone on. I'm not going to pretend like I understand why all the changes are happening or what goes into it, but I'll just give you everything I know, and you can make what you will of it. So radiation is, I wouldn't call it easy, but it was described to be a little bit scarier than it actually is. It's kind of just like you wait, you check in, you scan your card, you wait for 5 minutes, they call you back, they say, do you want a blanket? They'll put a blanket on you as you lay down on a table. You kind of have some small talk. They hand you like a foam ring that you hold, and then they put this mask on you. Now, the intention of the mask is to keep you still because remember, these radiation beams are kind of attacking your tumor. And if you're moving, obviously that makes it very difficult to attack the tumor. So keep you still, and the mask is kind of just like keeps you stationary. If you're claustrophobic, you'd have a terrible time because you can't move at all. You can nudge yourself, you can adjust just like a little bit, but there's no moving your head side to side or up or down. It's stuck. And it's kind of, I'd say it's a little tight around your mouth, so it's hard to breathe at all through your mouth. So I focus on breathing in through my nose, and I'm not gonna lie, my heart rate climbs. Just when you're trapped, your head is trapped, it raises your heart rate. So I practice something called belly breathing or diaphragmatic breathing. It's something I teach my clients as a counselor, so I would suggest checking it out. Basically, it is calming yourself and focusing on inhaling, and when you inhale, focus on your belly rising, and just do that 3 times. I think is all it takes to really lower your heart rate. Diaphragmatic breathing or belly breathing, check it out. Uh, okay, and the whole procedure for radiation takes about 10-15 minutes. I'd say closer to 10. They get you in there, they do an x-ray, and then you get zapped. And you don't feel anything. It's all painless. It's just uncomfortable, I would say, but it's fast. You go in there at 4 and you're out of there by like 4:20, so it goes fast. Uh, it's sort of like an MRI, but not as loud or as long. So they ask you what music you want to play, and the first 4 days I said classic rock is good, and then I was like, you know what? On Friday I was like, can I hear some Frank Ocean? So they'll play whatever you want. It's just Spotify, so it's cool. All right, today I want to walk you through the medications I'm taking because I just want to make it clear to everybody what I'm doing. So I'm gonna fill out a calendar that I'll show you guys, and you can see, okay, what time am I doing this and this and this and this. So I take anywhere from, how many meds am I taking? I'd say like 3 or 4 meds a day. One's a supplement, so I don't know if you can count that as a med, but I'll walk you through what I'm taking every single day, and you can see what my treatment has been like. So they're mostly in the evenings. I only take one thing in the morning, and that's a supplement. So, okay. Again, I've got a Google sheet here, so it keeps me a little bit organized, but I start my day with a vitamin D supplement. So I've been doing a lot of research. There's a guy named Dr. John Campbell who's got a great video called The Vitamin D Mistake, I believe it is. I will link it in the description. First thing, just go down and click it. You will be shocked. You'll be annoyed. You'll be angry. We are all not getting the appropriate amount of vitamin D that we need. We just don't, especially here in the Midwest where I live, is like there's not a lot of sunshine, especially in the winter. So I don't know how the winter messes with vitamin D, but I just feel like seasonal depression is very real. My job as a counselor is busier in the fall and winter and early April. Like those cold months take an effect on your mental well-being. It's not a joke, it's a real thing. So I'm learning why. I'm learning how important vitamin D is. It's not just important for cancer treatment, it's important for everybody. Everybody can benefit from it. Don't ask me questions about dosages when it comes to vitamin D. I asked my oncologist about dosages or amounts to take or whatever, and she was like, I'm not an endocrinologist, I think is what she said. So she's like uninformed. It's not her realm, I guess. So funny story. I was talking to my mom about the vitamin D supplement she takes, and then she was like, well, Sunshine is the best, right? And I was like, oh, okay, I'll check that out. So I go and I get this, I'll put a picture of it like right here, but I go and get this brand called Sunshine because I'm like, she said Sunshine's the best. Funny story, she meant like actual sunshine is the best source of vitamin D. Who would have thought? I thought she was talking about a brand. So I've been taking this one. I didn't take it on the Monday or Tuesday because it just hadn't come in the mail. I started taking it on Wednesday afternoon. Now, let me tell you a quick story about Monday, first day of treatment. I take my meds. I take my chemo pill or Temodar at 9 p.m. Then I proceed to read a book or whatever and then go to bed at midnight. And then I would say I woke up at 4 a.m. incredibly nauseous. I know I said I can handle nausea, and I can, but it's just like I woke up regardless due to the nausea. And I was uncomfortable, couldn't go back to sleep. I think I went to my computer, and I was just nauseous for a while. Like when I wake up, I notice that nausea is the worst. And same thing happened Wednesday morning. So I was just nauseous in the morning straight away after waking up. Proceed to get a vitamin D supplement in the afternoon of Wednesday, and I just take one because that's what they recommend. And guess what? My nausea basically gone. I would say my nausea was like a 4 or 5 out of 10, maybe approaching 6 at its worst. Now it's like a 1 or 2, and I'm not even always sure if it is nausea. Like I barely notice the nausea, and I'm going to attribute it to the vitamin D supplements because the timing makes too much sense for it to be anything else. Now, I will say it could just be my body adjusting to the chemo pill, but I don't know the science there. I'm not going to pretend to know the science. I will say I do have one thing reinforcing my belief that it is the vitamin D supplement. So I got a call actually from a nurse at the hospital, and she said, how's it going? We just want to check in on the symptoms, like how it has things been. And this is like maybe Thursday. And I tell her, actually, pretty good. Didn't start great. I was pretty nauseous in like the first couple days. And then actually, vitamin D has been helping my nausea, is what I'm understanding. And she said, oh, that's interesting. I've never really heard a cancer patient say that. But it's funny you say that because when I was pregnant, they gave me vitamin D to help with my nausea. And I was like, whoa, okay. So like it is probably the vitamin D that's cutting out my nausea. And I'm just like, how how are we in 2026 and we haven't established that a nausea supplement helps with chemotherapy? I think just that discovery alone creates a lot of disappointment, not just in like my own treatment, but in like all cancer treatment. That's a big deal to cut out nausea. If you can cut out nausea, that makes chemotherapy much more manageable. So I'm going to try my best not to get frustrated at my treatment because I respect my providers. I respect everybody on my team. Like, I have no bad feelings towards any of them. I know they're doing their best with what information they have. It's just I'm frustrated with the information they have, okay? And I know it's not their fault, but like this is a big deal, man. This is personal now. All of this, all of the research I'm putting in, all of my brain power I'm attributing to what's happening matters to me, and it matters to all cancer patients. I care about cancer patients and them improving their quality of life. That matters to me because it's personal now. It's frustrating, man, and my oncologist said it can be toxic, so that's why it's not like prescribed, or that's why it's not given out, or I don't know. But it's just like, what's going on, man? I don't understand. Like I said, I want to do a quick dive into all the medications I'm taking. It's not a lot, but I figured it'd be helpful to give you a little display of like all the stuff. So here we go. All right, let's dive into this a little bit. This is my schedule of the medications I'm taking right now. So let's talk about it. You'll notice I put them in kind of the order that I'll take them throughout the day. So I'm taking this Sunshine Vitamin D every single morning, right when I wake up, brush my teeth, take the vitamin, call it good. Really helps with my nausea, like I said, and then maybe it's helping mood and other things I'm not noticing. Then fast forward to 8:30 p.m. when I start taking my other necessary drugs. One that I take every single day is the ondansetron. I think that's how you say it. I'm getting slack for how I pronounce medications. I just don't know how to say them. But I take this anti-nausea med every day because it is supposed to work against the Temodar. Well, the vitamin D is working against the Temodar too. So I guess maybe the ondansetron and the vitamin D are working together. So then I'm taking Lexapro or escitalopram, which I have found out I was saying wrong, which is my trial drug. So this is the research study I'm a part of to see if your SSRIs or your serotonin levels are at the appropriate level to protect the healthy parts of your brain throughout radiation. Again, there's been very positive signs that this is very effective. So happy to be a part of that. The Lexapro does take 4 to 6 weeks to take effect to start feeling like less down, even though I don't feel down. I'll let you know what that feels like. So at 8:30 p.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I take Bactrim, which is an antibiotic, and it's primarily being prescribed to me so that I don't get something called pneumocystis. I don't know how to say that word, pneumonia, which is basically a severe lung infection. And she said it's very deadly. You don't want it, so just take your Bactrim, call it a day. And then, of course, my Temodar. That one is probably the most intimidating pill I've ever seen. Well, I got sent 2 packages of it. One is like 140 milligrams, and then one is 5 milligrams. I don't actually know why I take two of them. Maybe there's like a max of 140 milligrams or something. So yeah, it comes in this big, scary, hazardous box saying like proceed with caution or something, and they say make sure you wear gloves when you take it. It's not to be messed with. Make sure you keep it in a very secure place. You can't even put it in your bathroom because the bathroom can get hot and then cold and then hot and then cold, and that temperature can mess with the drug. So I keep it in my bedroom with all my other meds, nice and safe in there. So I put gloves on. I take my 140 milligram, take my 5 milligram, and then just wait for that to kind of take effect. But since Wednesday, January 7th, I think my nausea has been pretty controllable, to be honest. Like, it doesn't impact my day. I would say it impacted my day on Tuesday and first part of Wednesday, but I feel like I've done a good job getting that handled. So this is my med list. Yeah, I think it's not too crazy, but this kind of leads into what I want to talk about primarily for where I'm going now. I don't know if you're following my McQueen Cancer Facebook page, but I've been going back and forth with my oncologist about repurposed drugs and what's effective, the research behind it, Thomas Seyfried, Ben Williams, just like everybody in the field of brain cancer and cancer in general who's trying to like set the edge, trying to do with the next thing, kind of beat cancer, if you will. So there's a lot of controversy around beating cancer. Imagine that. Everything gets political and controversial these days, and it makes me sad, man. I think there's just too much controversy in this world surrounding things that are genuinely trying to do only positive things. So I'm not going to get on my soapbox and rant about my time researching this and the negative feedback I've been getting for certain opinions or certain strategies I've taken. It's just not worth my time to explain to you. If you really want to know, reach out to me and I'll explain it all. But it's just been a frustrating time. And with that frustration comes the need to in some ways like censor myself. I can't really like talk about these repurposed drugs that you know are going to be included in this list. Like I have to take precautions so that you guys are aware but also like I'm protecting my channel at the same time. So it's weird, man. It's really weird and frustrating. And I hope one day we can put this frustration behind us. And I hope I can be one step of the way towards that. I really do feel like I can be one step of the way towards that. That's truly how I feel. So I'm gonna give you my rundown of what my plan is. Not all the details. If you want the details, go to my Facebook page. Let me just start off by saying my oncologist was pretty hesitant towards any sort of repurposed drugs and diets. We brought up the keto diet, and she was like, I could see how that would work. I could see the logic of the science behind how the keto diet might restrict cancer. Like it functions off of glucose and sugar. So like, yeah, if you cut out sugar and carbs, like yeah, I could see how that would work. When it came to the actual repurposed drugs, it was like I was speaking another language, really. Like it was like I don't understand this at all. It is what it is. However, it is not her decision at the end of the day what I take on my med list. It is my decision. I have terminal cancer. When you have terminal cancer, at least in the United States, the idea is okay, if it were just up to us, you would die in this amount of time. So we're going to open the door for you to try drugs that might not be prescribed by your doctor. However, there is clinical data to show that they do oftentimes kill cancer. I want to be someone that finds something that kills cancer, and I'm going to do everything in my power to achieve that. My oncologist did say she's always keeping an eye out for the next best thing. She's always looking at how patients respond to their treatments and their med list. And it's very important to me to be 100% clear with my oncologist. I said, these are the dosages I'll be taking, and this is what I'm thinking. And I was expecting some critique, like, oh, okay, you want to take this often. I'd actually recommend XYZ dosage. And I didn't get any of that. It was like, okay, these have been added to your RX. And let's just say there's a difference in her explanation of treatments and prescriptions in my understanding of like the medical linguistics. Basically, like I assumed, oh, this has been added to your RX, meaning this has been added to your prescription list, it'll be ready in a few days, you can pick it up and we'll be good. No, that meant I will add it to your list of medications that you are taking, therefore we are on the same page that you are. However, it is on you to acquire these drugs. Didn't understand that at all. Okay, this is my first time with cancer. Imagine me not understanding that. So I went this whole past week thinking that these two drugs are going to be on my prescription list and I'd be able to take them through the hospital. That's my preference. I'd rather do it through a place that knows what the heck they're doing and not somewhere else, but I'll figure it out. Me and my family are dedicated. We're not going to be put down through obtaining these. Like it'll be done. It'll get done. Yeah. I'm also on a keto diet, so I've cut out sugar, I'd say the past 5 weeks. Cutting out sugar has improved my cognition. I feel sharper. I feel mentally stronger. I feel more acute, like I'm mentally locked in more, if that makes sense. And now I would say over the past week, I've been trying to cut out carbs. And carbs, man, they are everywhere. It's really hard to know what has carbs, what doesn't. Now, it's not a flat 0 carbs that I can take. The suggestion is 30 milligrams. Well, the real suggestion is 50 milligrams, but the suggested recommendation is 30 milligrams. And then you go from 30 and work your way down to 0. I'd say I'm doing a pretty good job. I would say I'm ranging from 0 to 20. I don't think I've gone above 20 grams of carbs in a day. And I honestly feel fine. Like I don't feel incredibly better, but like I feel okay cutting out carbs, and I think I'll eventually feel better after a longer amount of time. I'd say it's been probably like 5 days of cutting out carbs, like strictly. So yeah, my plan here is a keto diet and then 2 antiparasitic medications, one being IVM and the other being Meben. Go ahead and look up what those mean. You can find out more about them. If you're curious about my dosage and everything, just shoot me a DM and I will let you know, because I'm very open, especially on Facebook. I met with a palliative care specialist. I don't know what her role is. She's just really nice, actually. I think the way it works at a hospital is if you are on a terminal diagnosis, you meet with palliative care and they work with you on like your treatment and what they want to do and try to help you manage your symptoms. Honestly, my symptoms don't need help managing. I'm perfectly fine. Doesn't mean I don't want to talk about my life and everything happening and what's going on, because my life has been as eventful as it ever has been, honestly, in the last 3 months. So I just ranted about my life. I've never done therapy. This isn't exactly therapy, but if she wanted to be a therapist, she could, because her conversational skills or her interpersonal ability was very, very good. She was caring about what I was saying. She was locked into my story. She was repeating things back to me. Like, they teach you a set amount of skills as a counselor through your counseling education, and she was nailing basically all of them. So I don't know if they teach her that, but she was excellent, and I really like her. But we were talking about my story of my goal of trying to spread my message out there. Like, I don't care about privacy as long as I can be transparent about what I'm going through. And she said something along the lines of, it doesn't really matter if you kick cancer's ass or not. Even your story and your drive and your leadership style and like what you're doing matters no matter the outcome. Like, I think it's important to know that. And I said, I agree with you. However, it's important for my mentality. This is the athlete kind of coming out of me, where I don't think about failing. That is not something I dwell on. That is not a thought that I sit on, because thinking about failure is like practicing it. If you know, like, positive visualization is a very important key in psychology, where it's like you envision your success, you see that future, you see what your life is like, beating cancer, being a leader, having people behind you supporting you, being there for you, and winning. I'm envisioning winning. That is in my head, and there's nothing else in my head. And it brought it to mind a Marty Supreme quote. I saw Marty Supreme, I think last week, or not even last week. He's talking to some actress, and the actress is like, "What if this doesn't work out? What if your dream isn't what you envision? What if you fall short?" And his response is, he kind of smiles and he goes, "I don't even let that enter my consciousness." That is how I feel, man. Failing is not in my consciousness, and I need people to understand that. I need that belief in that failure is not going to happen. I'm going to make sure it doesn't happen, and you can count on that, man. I'm not going to fail. If I don't make it as long as I want to make it, it will not be my fault. You can count on that. I'm going to do everything in my power to live a long life, okay? I need some trust in that. Back to the repurposed drugs. I don't want to spend much time talking about them, because the amount of controversy and political discourse around these drugs is just like disgusting, if you ask me. I'm not a very political person. I like to keep an open mind, and I undersell my confidence in things, meaning I don't say I know something when I don't, because that leads to arrogance and overconfidence and failure. And I don't like to fail. I like to grow and learn. So I try to see things from two sides. I don't try not to lean left or right. I try to just make up my own mind and have my own set of opinions and beliefs. I know everybody says that, but I truly try that. So it's just kind of sick and disgusting when you think about it, to see how these drugs that I'm pursuing are treated by mainstream media. It's just gross. So I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about them. I just want you guys to do your own research and find out what works for yourself, because you'll be amazed what's out there and what's not funded by whoever and whatever is out there to promote effective cancer treatment. I think things are about to change. I think revelations are about to be seen by the whole world, and I'm going to be one step in that process. I don't want to explain to you kind of why these drugs are controversial and why there's no serious momentum behind them, but I will tell you the phrase "money is the root of all evil," and you can kind of work out from there what that means. It's sad, disgusting, and horrible. So yeah, you can figure out what that means for yourself. I feel like it's unjust right now. My life, if I were to use one word, is probably unjust. I just don't feel like I should be here. I don't think I should be 25 years old talking about my brain tumor, talking about repurposed drugs that have no momentum. Well, they do have momentum, but just not mainstream momentum. And then I'm talking to my medical providers about them, who've never really even looked at them. It's just that word unjust is stuck in my head. Like I don't feel justified. I don't feel like this treatment is justified. I don't feel like people are opening their eyes to these possibilities. It hurts. It hurts me. It hurts me, and it hurts all cancer patients who don't know what I know. And I know what I know because I put this on my back and I went after it and I looked and I attacked it and I made it my job to figure out what's going on here. But not everybody's like that. Not everybody knows how to use the internet like I do. Not everybody understands the research like I do. And I'm blessed to be able to do that, but it's disappointing, man. It's very disappointing. If you've ever thought to yourself like, man, cancer's so awful, cancer's so brutal, how are we one day going to defeat it? I think this is one step of the way. It's one part of that puzzle. It's not the final piece of the puzzle, it is one part of the puzzle. But I know one thing's for sure. Doing what I'm doing now is better than whatever the hospital would tell me to do. I can promise you that. I can promise you that. Finally, I just ask for good thoughts from everybody, and please believe in me. I know I've got this, but I still appreciate all the support and the kind messages. And I want you guys to understand I don't see this as something that is like life destroying, okay? Being given 3.5 to 5 years, yeah, that sucks, okay? But what it's done is it's made me hyper aware of my mortality. I think when you're a kid and you're a teenager and young adult, you just think, man, I got a lot of life ahead of me, okay? Then this has been a smack in the face of wake up, apply yourself, figure things out, do your part. It's like stop being complacent, stop thinking you have your whole life ahead of you, stop not applying yourself towards things that are truly important, okay? That's how I'm viewing this. This is important what I'm doing right now. None of this is meaningless anymore. And I'm not saying what I was doing before is meaningless, but this is like global scale important, okay? That's how I view this. This will change the world and I can be a part of it. So this is life enhancing to me. This is not life destroying. So please keep that in mind. I appreciate all the kind messages and the love and all of that. Keep that coming, please. Like I love it, but don't pity me. Please believe in me. That matters so much more, okay? Um, as always, much love. Take care and I'll see you next time. Peace.